What is up and welcome back, and today we have a brand new basketball shoe. It's going to be from Adidas, and this one's called the Bounce Legends, and it is going to be from the budget line from Adidas, so have that in mind for this whole performance review. So with that said, let's dive right in. So I did play in this shoe a whole lot. Okay, I did play indoors and outdoors, and I'm going to say for outdoors, this shoe actually I felt it played a lot better than indoors. And the reason why I say that was because for indoors, this shoe, it is going to grip real good for the traction, but when there is dust, it is going to get a little bit slippery. So just make sure you're wiping and you'll be okay, because I do like the traction. You can see the pattern right there. It's going to be herringbone in some areas, and then in other areas, just going to be this kind of straight line. But I do like that it has, you know, the herringbone a little bit on the side, also in the interior. So I do like seeing a little bit of traction on the interior. That's always a plus. And again, this is a budget line, so you're not going to have everything that you want. They're going to try to make it work and keep the price down. But again, great traction and a little bit on the side. And also, what surprised me about this sneaker is I felt it gripped a lot better outdoors than indoors. Okay, I did go to a couple different courts, some that were bad outdoor courts, and it was gripping pretty good. You can see in the video. And then I did go to a very nice outdoor basketball court, and it performed even better right there. So I am going to say, as a summary, this basketball shoe right here, it is a budget line, but it is very surprising. It has a lot of good things going for it. So moving on, for the materials, you are going to get a whole bunch of textiles and overlays. That's what you usually get when a shoe's a budget line or inexpensive. And you can see that right here. Overlays for the Adidas, overlays in the front, some fused material. Okay, you are going to get this textile mesh, and I do like it. It is stiff, so as you can tell, the sneaker holds its shape. I like to see that, especially in budget lines. I don't like when the sneaker, you take it off and then it loses its shape. So right here, you're already winning with the materials. Okay, give you a tour. Again, you can see more fused materials. Back here, it does have a synthetic for the back, so that's good to see. Okay, now something that I do like a whole lot about this one is that I do like the lockdown. This lacing system does a very good job. Lockdown, I felt it's close to 9.5, right? You hardly get any slippage, especially with the setup. With this shoe, you definitely gotta loosen up the laces a whole lot to get into it. So it is going to be one of those basketball shoes. But if you do use this top insert right here, it just improved the lockdown a whole lot. I felt when I used this bottom insert, it was maybe around an 8.5, but with this top insert right here, definitely gets pretty close to a 10. Okay, so very great to see that in a budget line. Don't want to forget to mention about the cushioning for the interior. It's not going to have a whole lot of cushioning, just something a little bit less than regular, but despite that, this shoe still feels very comfortable when you have it on. And now moving on to the cushioning, you are going to have bounce, as you can see right here. It says bounce on the side of the sneaker. You're going to have that for the whole shoe. And I was actually pleasantly surprised, because you do feel very comfortable for the landings. Sometimes in budget lines that could be an issue, but for this sneaker right here, you're covered from the front all the way to the back, and just a tiny bit discomfort if you land right on the heel like that in the back. Tiny bit discomfort. But I'm going to say that is a good detail, because you're almost covered for the whole sneaker and it feels very good, but just minor discomfort. Nothing too bad. It's just something to watch out if you keep playing in the shoe a whole lot. If you start noticing that the cushioning already bottom out, then just keep an eye on that. You don't want to keep landing in the heel. Okay, but the cushioning gets a very good pass, very responsive. I felt real fast in this sneaker. It grips real good with the traction, and you can move real fast. So if you're a guard, I mean, you're gonna love it. You're a forward, you're gonna love it. My only thing is, if you're a heavier type player, maybe, and a fast player, I might not recommend it. And why I say that is because if you look, it's not too wide. You don't have wide outriggers. Okay, I like shoes that are a little bit more wider in the front, and my play style is really fast and crossing players up. I try to be explosive, and I did feel every now and then just a little bit roll over on the inside, just because it's not too wide, like I mentioned. Okay, it's not too wide. Okay, and that could be an issue again if you have a lot of strength in your legs and you stop on a dime, right? You just go from 100 to 0 with the materials. Maybe your foot might slide a little bit over. That happened to me in my pinky area right here, and I started feeling that after playing in the shoe for about 4 hours. I went into the gym just to play 2 hours, but you know how it is. People are like, hey, keep going, keep going. So we played a whole bunch of games, and I started feeling some discomfort right here in the corner, okay, for the pinky. And again, that's because with the shoe, the stability of it, the materials, they do feel firm, but there is going to be a little bit of rollover, a tiny bit, okay? So if you play in this shoe, I'm going to say my suggestion for around 2 hours, maybe a little bit more, you're not going to have no problems. But maybe when you play for a really long time, that's when you might start feeling some discomfort right here on the side, okay? And also for 2 hours, it felt very good. But once I kind of hit 3 hours, 4 hours, I really started feeling some heat underneath right here, okay, with a lot of the stopping. And I usually don't see that with other shoes, especially more expensive shoes. I feel I can play 3 hours, 4 hours, and I don't feel just one area getting really hot. With this one, I did feel it got hot right here, okay? So now moving on to some good things about this sneaker. I do like that it has a heel clip in the back. You can feel it. It's not too tall, but it's still there, so it gets the job done. I like having that in a basketball shoe. Also, I did play in this sneaker in 100-degree weather for everybody. I really was trying to test it out, and right now in California it's really hot. So surprisingly, this shoe felt good outdoors, okay? With the heat, I mean, it performed very good. I didn't feel my feet getting too hot. So even though you do have thin material and it kind of looks like it doesn't have any openings, the ventilation is pretty good, okay? A lot of hot air was escaping. I've tested other shoes and they get real soggy. This one, I didn't see that happen, and I felt that my feet were very cool, very ventilated. So no complaints on my end. And since the material is stiff, you can already see some wrinkles right here where the shoe bends. But that's something minimal. As long as the shoe gets the job done on the basketball court, I can overlook something like that. And lastly, for sizing, this sneaker is going to be true to size. And if you are a wide footer, just go a half size up and you're covered. So that's gonna do it for this basketball sneaker. I did try to give you a more summarized description of it. I do like it a whole lot for a budget line. And then right now in the US, the regular price for this one is $85, but for Labor Day weekend, they do have a 30% discount. So you can get this one for $55 USD. So that's a very great price for a sneaker that can do a whole lot. Great traction. Almost any type of player can use it if you're shifty, right? You just gotta watch out when you use it for too long to see if you're not getting any discomfort. So I definitely approve of this basketball sneaker for a budget line. It was the Adidas Bounce Legends, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.